Hey everybody, good morning. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. It's Easter Sunday, April 20th, 2025. I'm sitting in a Starbucks in Sahuarita, Arizona. And the lighting's a little funny and my hair looks a little funny. It kind of always does now. But the theme of today's live stream is I have found a new therapist. I found a new therapist, a talk therapist, like a mental health therapist. And as you might know, I am a therapist myself for many years. And I just wanted to do a little talk about it, or maybe incorporate my experiences with what your experiences have been, and encouraging you to go see a therapist. If you haven't ever or in a long time, go see a therapist. Do understand things cost money and there's financial limitations. I do understand that completely. But outside of that, why wouldn't you want to see a therapist? You deserve therapy. That's how I view it. You know, I see a massage therapist, all right, and I get my muscles all worked. And that's like a very good thing. It's like a pampering kind of thing. So that's massage therapy. There's other kinds of therapies, right? Physical therapy, all right? That's obviously good if you need it. But then it's like, why wouldn't you want therapy for your soul and your heart, to talk things out? Anyway, all right, I'm giving a little bit of a lecture here, but I do think I found a new therapist. Now, here's the thing. My old therapist, I didn't leave on negative grounds or anything like that. I actually have been working with Natalie pretty much for about 3.5 years. I think 3.5 years I've been working with Natalie. And she was great. She helped me a lot. She knew me like anybody, like nobody. She knew me like nobody else, And but her schedule was getting a little difficult. She had limited hours, and I was feeling a little stuck. Where I was like, I wonder if I've hit a plateau in some areas, and some of that's not even her fault. It could be my fault, or maybe it's nobody's fault, but it's definitely not her fault. And I just said, what the heck? I'm going to go try a different therapist. And so we had our first session on Thursday. And it's I think she's 32 years. She's young, 32. To me, 32 is young. I'm 53. And Courtney is her name. So, and we really hit it off. We hit it off well that first session, opening up about some things. And I always have personal things to talk about. So, anyway, I'm going to do a little toast to my new therapist, wishing me the best. I'm going to need it because I got a lot of difficult things to talk about. By the way, your life can be going perfectly well. Your relationships are good. Your job and your finances are good. You get along with your in-laws. Maybe your kids are doing all right. And you still might benefit from seeing a therapist. This idea that you have to have something wrong with you to go to therapy, or sort of this shame-based notion like, oh, there's something wrong with me, therefore I got to go see a therapist to get help. That's true. We all have things to work on. We got flaws, and habits we want to shake off, or addictions we want to kick, or who knows what, mental health symptoms, depression, anxiety, whatever. All right. But I reject the idea that there has to be something wrong with you to see a therapist. Nonsense. Absolutely not. Sometimes therapy can be simply about, and first of all, improving, working on goals that you want to achieve. And then also, who do you have that actually listens to you? You know what I mean? I know there's a lot of people where they just kind of feel lonely, where they feel like nobody would ever want to listen to me about this. Maybe you got a spouse and your spouse really loves you and you know it, but it's still hard for them to listen. Maybe because they go too much into fix mode, or there's all sorts of reasons. A therapist can play the role of that professional listener, that active listener. It's called active listening. Or once a week, you can have a therapy session for whatever, 45, 50, 60 minutes, however long it goes. You can just talk about anything you want, and your therapist will listen to you. And I'm trusting they would not judge you or laugh at you, but would listen, ask good questions, give you empathy, maybe give you guidance or advice if you need it, So once a week, that's what I tell my clients. I'm like, give yourself permission once a week for 1 hour to talk about yourself. What's going on? How are you doing emotionally? What's been weighing on your mind? I always go to like, what's been burdening your heart? What bothers you? So a lot of people are kind of trained though through culture, just the way we were raised, and to not be emotionally curious, to not think about, well, what's going on inside of me? How am I feeling? Am I happy? A lot of people just kind of live on autopilot. They don't even want to think about how they're doing, let alone how they're doing emotionally, that kind of thing. And look, all I'm saying is, for those of you that at least have some emotional intelligence, it's called emotional intelligence or emotional literacy. For those of you that have some emotional literacy, then a therapist can be really good. If you can find the right one that just clicks with you, your personality and theirs, and they're a good listener, and it's just a good vibe, you can just hit the ground running, talking about problems, challenges, because here's the principle. A problem that you can't talk about with anyone is now 2 problems. It's the truth. We all have problems, whether we want to admit it or not. But the problem that you have no one to talk to, now you have 2 problems. Sometimes having no one to talk to can be a worse problem than the problem itself. Just saying. Some of you get it. Some of you are going to get that. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. So anyway, I'm giving a little rambling, inspirational speech of sorts about why you should go to therapy. But anyway, I had one session. It was by video. It was by video. Okay. She's in the Denver area. And I'm down here in Arizona right now, but I'll be back in Colorado in 10 days to be exact. So, but anyway, so we got one session down, and this is good. I got more things to talk about. Really, I want to encourage you, if you're like a regular visitor of my YouTube channel, you subscribe, or you're into my Not Too Shabby videos, or I can always count on a comment from you. There's like 8 to 10 of you that are very regular. All right. If you're one of those where, you know my YouTube channel, me, warts and all, I really want to encourage you. Go see a therapist. And again, I do understand the financial aspects. Okay. Like if you can't afford it, or insurance, I understand if you have insurance, that can be a difficult thing. So anyway, that's all. And by the way, there are so many in the year 2025 now. It's been over 10 years where there are many websites and apps where you can see a therapist virtually by video, and they'll probably connect you with a licensed therapist in your state, but it doesn't really matter anyway. But yeah, you can. So if you live in a really rural area and there's no therapist around, maybe there's one therapist in your small town, and you think, oh no. When I lived in Buena Vista, I remember I wanted to see a therapist, and I thought, but I know the people, and it would just feel funny to see them. So now with virtual, I can just see some therapists in Denver that I'm never going to see, never going to run into, and you can be totally rural. You don't have to drive an hour to somebody's office or something crazy like that. So there's so many advantages. So I see all of my clients online. I actually use this little Chromebook, and I have another one. And I see all my clients online. So I have no commute, pretty much no boss, no coworkers. I have no annoying coworkers. That's the greatest thing. And I get to just work from my couch wherever I'm at. And no wear and tear on my car. And I get to live in Westcliff is definitely a rural kind of area. And I get to work. So it's pretty cool. I'm really fortunate. So, so there you go. Today's sponsor. Okay, it's not really a sponsor, but I got this. I'm here at a Starbucks. Here's the Starbucks. There it is. Very Starbucksy. The Starbucks in Sahuarita, Arizona. It's right on. Across the street is the Walmart. And I just got this raspberry lime, real squeezed fruit. It's not bad. It's not too shabby. Hey, let me grab this. I'm going to show you this. Komodo Dragon. Look at this beautiful packaging. The purple, blue, and pink. Komodo Dragon blend. Right here. I just love the packaging. This is nice. Then, I'm wearing my worn out Gila Ben shirt here. You can see the Gila is almost worn out. But I still like this jersey, this little shirt. So there you go. All right, so staying on topic. I feel like I should share more about my therapy journey. What should I share? The things that I usually have to talk about in therapy in this recent era. In a lot of ways, my life is really good. There's so many good things going on. And, the basics like finances and my lifestyle. I'm in good health. I've got some friends, but there's always stresses of life where there's like that loneliness sometimes where it feels like, who cares? Nobody cares. Nobody really cares about my problems. Who do I have to talk to? Because I am a therapist. Almost all my therapists in this recent era were like, oh, you're a therapist. How's your stress? Do you manage your stress? So that kind of stuff. But I don't know. There's a lot to say. And I'm probably not going to do a good job. I'm not going to overshare. Actually, that's even a whole nother thing, is oversharing, which I've been guilty of a lot in my life. But So I'm just going to be authentic and say I probably won't share too much about some of the deeper things that I explore in therapy. But I do with my therapist. See? That's my little commercial to you. I don't know. It's kind of funny. See, I am a therapist. So like my attitude is always, and I tell my clients up front in the first session, and I reinforce it frequently, if not every session, but I'm always telling my clients, like, there is no judgment. We can talk about anything, and there's no judging you. There's definitely no laughing at you. There's no acting like I'm better than you or, smarter than you, and or any kind of judgy. I know what it's like to open up to someone, and there's that little voice in your head that says, "This person's listening to me," but deep down, are they just thinking, "Man, this guy's just a complainer. He's a whiner. I can't believe he struggles with blah blah blah. He's telling me about this." And I want my clients to know it's like, no, I want to be the very opposite of that judgment. I tell my clients, I want to be the opposite of all that. I want to be that therapist where no matter what, you feel like, oh, I can talk to that guy. I can bring up the craziest, most personal. I can bring up something big, something from my childhood. I can bring up something small that happened 2 days ago. And he always listens. He's always cool with me. And he cares. So anyway, I try to be that. I try to be that to my clients. And I think my new therapist and then my old therapist, Natalie, were definitely that as well. So, hey, Brett, happy Easter. Happy Easter. Hey, Brett, have you ever seen a therapist? Like a talk therapist? Come on, man. Spill the beans. But anyway, I'm just talking. Yeah, you have, Brett. When was the last time you've seen a therapist? I'm kind of curious. Okay, the focus is on you now. You don't have to open up. You don't have to share. But Brett, you've been seeing a therapist since 2016. Good for you, buddy. 2016? That's like 9 years. On and off for 9 years. Good for you. Good for you, man. Good for you. Now, it is true. I am a therapist. And I'd like to think I gave some good reasons why a lot of people might want to consider seeing a therapist and all that, but it's not just because I make money from it. It's like, the old saying about if you're walking around with a hammer everywhere, you're going to start thinking everything's a nail. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm a therapist. So everybody just needs therapy. But it is true. I will say this. If you have some really good relationships, friendships, or whatever, romantic or any kind of significant other friendships where you can really open up to them and they can hold space for you and not judge you and listen and you feel better, that's pretty much like therapy. And that's pretty cool if you have those people in your life. I'm super duper happy for you. Even if you just have one person. And honestly, if you have one person, that's like a big deal. You're really fortunate. If you have like two or more, then you're getting into like, winning the lottery or something. So, but just remember, sometimes you can count on a therapist to always be there because you're paying them. And sometimes you might have a friend or a spouse or somebody and they're busy. You call them and you want to talk, but they're tired from work or something and they might not be in a good headspace to listen, that kind of thing. So anyway, so just that's the advantage of having a therapist is, let's say you talk to your therapist every Friday morning. Every Friday, boom, it's like clockwork. Every Friday, every 7 days, you see your therapist and you get to talk about things. So, yeah. Right on, Brett. Good for you, Brett. Brett, I'm glad you got a good support system. You really like working at that Desert Survivors, don't you? Hey, Brett, what days do you work at Desert Survivors in Tucson? I'm just curious. What days do you work? I might have to come by. We'll see. All right, you work Monday through Friday? All right. I'm not making any promises. I might try to stop by and, see what's going on at Desert. I want a tour of Desert Survivors. So it's a name for those of you who are watching. That's the name of it's the name of a nursery here. Here, let me pull it up here. Desert Survivors. Not Too Shabby. Here it is.
It's the Desert Survivors Nursery. Not Too Shabby.
There you go, Desert Survivors. There you go. Make sure my phone is connected to the Wi-Fi here. There it is, Starbucks Wi-Fi, right there, baby. All right. Gotta put an email address. I gotta put an email address to get to the Wi-Fi. I always feel like I gotta be honest and give my real address. So, and then they spam me. Anyway. All right. So, I'm gonna play some Not Too Shabbies. Let's just see what happens here. Here we go. I'm going to mix it up so that it's random playlist here. Let's see. Wait. How do we do this?
It's my orthopedic sandals. Not Too Shabby.
Here we go.
It's a musical Rudolph. Not Too Shabby.
That's a fun one.
Sitting in a hammock.
That's Matt McGinnis's hammock.
Not Too Shabby. It's the Continental Divide. Not Too Shabby. It's Santa Gertrudis Lane. Not Too Shabby. My friend is a veteran of the Iraq War. Not Too Shabby. It's a Texas waffle iron.
That was in Texas.
Not Too Shabby. It's two beautiful palm trees. Not Too Shabby. It's an abandoned gas station and restaurant. Not Too Shabby.
Who was that? I don't even know where that was.
It's Christmas lights in front of somebody's home. Not Too Shabby. It's a bag of potato chips. Not Too Shabby. It's food at the Humberto's drive-thru. Not Too Shabby. It's my Seattle Seahawks socks. Not Too Shabby.
All right, two more.
Seeing my fantasy football team, the garbage cans, won. Not too shabby.
That's weird. That's not a good
It's
one.
Rainbow Lake. Not too shabby.
There you go. There you go. And then here was the one I did yesterday. I'll play that one. I got these new orthopedic sandals. They're basic sandals really, but here I did it, and I was in the desert.
It's my orthopedic sandals. Not too shabby.
There you go.
Using an ashtray to hold salsa. Not too shabby.
There you go.
It's a green chili air freshener. Not too shabby. I'm on a bumpy dirt road.
I love this
On
one.
the Navajo reservation. Not too shabby.
There you go, man. All right. Well, I think I'm going to wrap it up pretty soon here. I'm going to finish my drink. Let me know in the comment section. For those of you who watch this afterwards, do you see a therapist? When was the last time you've seen a therapist? What's holding you back from seeing a therapist? Do you have questions about therapy or I don't know? What's holding you back? Or are you seeing one and what are you working on? What's good about it? You know? So just throwing that out there. Give me your feedback in the comment section. All right. So anyway, it's just my humble attempt to bring up this topic. And all right, let me just finish this. All right, my friends. Take care of yourself and make it a great day in the desert. Bye-bye.